Good afternoon, everybody. Of course, it's me, Mitch. Saturday afternoon, 3 o'clock. And I'm glad to be here. Good to see you all. Welcome. Welcome. See, you're chatting up a storm, and you may have noticed that in my countdown screen, I have put the chat up on the right. I hope it isn't too small to read, but for many of you who watch these things on TVs with Roku apps or something like that, that'll at least allow you to see what's going on in the chat. I also created another view where I could actually put the chat up next to me. So if you like that, let me know. When I'm answering or trying to find questions, I'll use this screen, because when I go over here to the chat and scroll up and down in it and try to find your questions, you'll be able to see what I'm doing. So it may give you more of a feeling for the panic and urgency that I feel when I'm searching desperately for something in this myriad of what happens in the chat. So it's good to see you all. We got 60 people here already. Wow. Nice turnout for early. And we have a nice sunny day outside. I think you can see past me at the window next to me how bright the sunlight is. So, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let me start with my disclaimer here. You know, not a doctor, don't give personal medical advice. I answer questions when I can, but not personal medical questions that have anything to do with medications, blood test results, things like that. I talk in generalities about biology and biochemistry. I talk about my experiences, my experiments on myself, what the results were. And you can feel free to take anything away from that. So there you go. A couple announcements today. And I've seen a couple of questions already. I see that one right there from Jerry Vodstush. Maybe I'll just answer that while I got it there. Don't you love the sound quality from the JBL Bluetooth speaker? If you don't have on Amazon link for it, you should. Yes, I do. And what Jerry's talking about is this thing right here. And the reason I have it sitting right here, a Bluetooth speaker, is I get all the sound out of my mixer, not from speakers because it would echo back into the microphone, but through my headphones. But for the pre-show, when I don't feel like sitting here wearing headphones and I want to make sure that the music is indeed coming out of this, I have this little Bluetooth speaker. And about a minute and a half before I go live, I turn the Bluetooth speaker off and put my headphones on. And it really is a terrific little speaker. I have to get used to two new buttons on my layout here, the two that have the chat. I wanted to answer a couple of questions so far about our next upcoming meetup. I've been getting emails from you guys. I can't make it on this day. I can't make it on that day. We determined on Thursday night that Friday would be the best day for those people who work, so they would be able to get the day off. So when I took away all the dates, when I was notified that people couldn't come, people that really want to come, and the fact that it's on a Friday, I haven't cleared it with the restaurant yet, but I can't anticipate a problem. I'm shooting for the 25th of October, Friday, October 25th. It'll be at 11:30 p.m. at the Brazilian Steakhouse here in Melbourne. You'll be hearing a lot more about that, but that's just the first early plans for that thing, and we'll see. We'll see how it works out. I think hopefully it'll all come together, and we'll have a nice little turnout of people who drive up here or down here or wherever. And Steve Rogers, he said he's looking forward to it, and he's going to, if he does come, he'll fly in from Kansas City. And as a retired Delta employee, he flies for free, and he'll be happy to know, Steve, that the restaurant is a mere less than a mile from the Melbourne airport. How convenient will that be? And we'll even figure out a way to arrange to pick you up. How's that? How would you pass up an offer like that? We had more. So the storm passed, and as you've all seen all over the news, it was a doozy, and it's left a gigantic mess all over the place. I feel for all those people, and at the same time, can't help but be very happy that we got nothing here. Nothing. I don't think it rained for a grand total of 30 minutes, the whole 2 days of that thing. And I don't think the amount of rain we got amounted to some hundredths of an inch, because there was no real heavy rain. Trees blew a little bit, but they didn't blow hard enough to even blow a dead palm frond to the ground. So today, after the storm passed and everything is bright and rosy, this morning it actually rained harder for a longer period of time than the sum total of the entire storm. You just never know. But we have been treated on the local news and I've been treated in my YouTube feed. Our trusty local weatherman isn't wasting any time and pointing out to us there's another one coming right on its heels, forming in the same place, projected to take the same path. But the good news is this one doesn't look like it's going to amount to much of anything, if at all. And if it does, odds are it'll go west. Now, that's not good news for the people up in New Orleans and everything else, but I can't even imagine the people in the Big Bend of Florida getting hit after that last one, even with a tropical storm and more rain. And so there's another one to watch. The even better news is there's nothing brewing out there off the coast of Africa right now that is going to come this way. There's a couple of things that might become the next named storms, but they're going to just take a turn to the north and head up into the North Atlantic, way to the east of Bermuda, so they're no threats. So what we've got here, and this is typical for the height of the hurricane season, which is September 10th. September 10th is the peak. So we're not far past that, but we are on a downhill of frequency now. We've got to pass for about the next couple weeks, I think. And hopefully after that, this season will be winding down. And we go through this every year, and it's just part of living in Florida. Here where I live right now, I've been here 8.5 years. Wow, 8.5 years. We've had 3 or 4 significant storms. 2 of them I actually evacuated, but and they were pretty rough. But I came through them with flying colors, and I know it jinxes it if you brag about things like that. But thankfully, I did okay, and there are things we don't get here. We don't get earthquakes. We don't get mudslides. We don't get volcanoes. So wherever you live, pick your poison. Pick your poison. Let me say hi to some of the early birds here. We have United Carnivore, Michael Seeley. Greetings from Tampa Bay, Michael. Friday it's going to be. Mike I don't think we can do Tuesday. Too many of the people that have said they really want to come can't come on Tuesday. So this will alternate and switch the days this time. Michael's the fellow that did all the legwork for me over there in Tampa. I just reserved the meeting room. Estampa Gaucha. for 11:30 on 1025. Let's eat meat. Oh, Michael. Yes, sir, you're on top of it. You are on top of it, my friend. Thank you so much. So I guess I don't need to go over there and talk to them. Hell. Very, very, very nice of you. Touramir Carnivores here. How you doing, Touramir? How are you doing? I'm doing just fine. Doing fine. In fact, I'm doing better than fine. I'm doing so good that if I was doing any better, it would be illegal, I think. I think it'd be illegal. And Torma says, for me, day 29 straight on the Lion Diet, no cheat meals or cheat days, 3 weeks without dairy products. Yes, sir. Congratulations. Congratulations. And that deserves a little party. Yes, sir. A little party. Cool. Good for you. Good for you. Jody, Drone Shots, my buddy. Always here. Good to see you, man. And I see you're making friends with everybody else here. One of these days you're going to tell me whether, well, you're a skinny guy anyway, but you're going to have to tell me whether you're actually eating a lot of meat or not. Ellen is here. Scooby the dog, how you doing? Good to see you as always, Ellen, and very prolific member of all of the communities here. And always good to see her. Boyd Lamb is here. Hi, Boyd. How you doing? Michael Seeley's father. Michael Sr.'s here. Lives here in Melbourne. Good to see you. And Richard Williams. Williams, always here. Good to see you, Richard, from Copper Hill, Tennessee. I hope you didn't get hit too hard by this thing up in Tennessee. I don't know what part of Tennessee Copper Hill is in, but I know that there's a dam up there. I don't know what dam or where it is. They're worried about it breaking, and they're evacuating people. So let's hope that you don't get caught up in that. Here's somebody new. Loco Emu 2. Greetings. Welcome. Thanks for coming. Good to see you. Tina Schweikerath is here. Hi, Mitch. She's going to listen while driving. Well, good. Be safe out there. Be safe. And Loco Emu says, I found Mitch about 2 weeks ago. I like his teaching style. Thank you. Thank you so much. Satya, how you doing, sweetie, from Arizona? Good to see you. And Steve Roger. Hi, Mitch. I'm in Iowa, riding bike with friends, but we'll listen in on your live chat. Hey, you're ambitious, Steve. Got to hand it to you. Got to hand it to you. And Steve also said, I'm looking forward to a Melbourne meetup. Well, there you go. There you go, my friend. October 25th, 11:30. And we'll be talking a lot more about that. And let's see if we can't get a big crowd together. Jerry, hope to see you on October 25th as well, coming down from the Jacksonville area. Welcome. And we have Nelson Vasquez, Dr. Nelson. Hey, Nelson, how you doing, my friend? You better come. You better figure out a way to be at our meetup. And that would be Thursday. Excuse me. Wow, I need a drink. Friday, October 25th. It's at the Melbourne Square Mall at the Brazilian Steakhouse. So I hope to see you there. Glad to see you here. Peter Kruger's here. How you doing from South Africa? Hi, Peter. Man, that always amazes me. People halfway around the world. Ain't technology grand? Laurie Weitzel's here. Hi, Laurie, from Ontario, Canada. And Jiffy. Jiffy, thank goodness the voice of reason is here to help on a dreary Saturday in Georgia. Yeah, you people up in Georgia got hit hard. Dr. Nelson, doing great. On most Fridays, I can do lunch. Perfect, my friend. Perfect. And Randy, hey, stranger. Randy K is here. Good to see him. Good to see you, man. How you been? We have Valerie Thompson here. And Mark Booth, Senior. Hi, Mark. How you doing? Good to see you. Mama Cracker. is here, and who else haven't I said hi to? We're still just coming up to about 3 o'clock on the chat when I actually pushed the live button. And everybody's chatting back and forth. I see Tammy's here. Hi, Tammy. Raining in New York City. And here we have Nate Dog. Day 6 of Carnivore. Energy levels way up, eye floaters way down. Feeling great. So glad I found this group on YouTube. We're happy to have you, Nate. And keep going, man. Keep going. And if it gets a little rough for a while, don't get disgusted about it. Don't feel bad about it. Make it to that 30 days. Then we'll talk some more. We have Ludi Cruss. How you doing? Says good morning, everybody. And I'm just going through the chat here. Stephen Albeck is here. Hi, Stephen. Trying to remember. Moorhen. Hey, Moorhen is here. How you doing? From Europe. Good to see you. Good to see you. And Lewis L. from New York. From New York City. How you doing? And I think I said hi to Lee Sweberg from Denmark. How you doing? So happy you are safe and sound, and Helena didn't visit your area. Yep. Helena stayed far away from me. Something that it's been a trend with women lately, so I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing. CV Carmack, how you doing? 2 straight days of rain. I can imagine, man. Everybody outside of Florida, well, except for the area where in the Big Bend area, everybody in Florida got off a lot luckier than everybody from South Georgia all the way up to Kentucky. Never seen anything like it. Who's this? Bears fan Jim, thanks for what you're doing, Mitch. You're an inspiration to us 55-plus-year-olds. I've been wanting to start my own channel, and you've helped me do that. That's great. That's great. Let me guess. You're going to be talking about the Bears. Well, that would be obvious with your name. But good luck. Good luck on it, man. And don't let YouTube drive you nuts. It takes a while to get this. Worse than getting used to what happens to you when you do this YouTube stuff, and coming to terms with it and learning to live with it and how to handle it is harder than a carb addict going on the carnivore diet cold turkey. I got to tell you, that was easy compared to what it is. And I think after a full year plus, almost a year and 2 months now, I finally found my footing here on YouTube, the ups and downs. You guys came along for the ride. You know how many times I came close to just chucking it in. And I'm not alone. This can be an emotional roller coaster. But I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm here, and we're just continuing to march. I've kind of settled into a groove, and I think I want to stay in that groove. May not be the fastest growing groove, but I'm very happy, and I'm especially happy with my audience, with those of you who have become part of this thing. That's the best part of it. I wouldn't do it without that. So there's a big thank you. Big thank you to all of you. There you go. Direct from my mixer to you. Who else we got that I didn't say hello to? Isabella's here. How you doing? What are you frustrated about? Turomir, you guys are talking to each other. And here's somebody I haven't said. Jeff and Felicia. Skurlock, Real Life Media, beautiful weather in South Bama. Welcome. I haven't seen you before. Glad you found me here. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for coming. I really do appreciate all you guys. John Miller says, hi, guys. And Pedro RC, another one of the old RC guys, is here from Barcelona, Spain. Super good to see you, man. Glad you could make it. And trying to... Steve Studley's here. How you doing, Steve? Good to see you. Pamela Suarez. Pamela Suarez is here. Good to see you, too. And we're almost down to the early birds here, the beginning. People, I'm looking for mostly repeats. We have Dogless. Your meat has changed my life. Mitchie, my sweet. Okay. No innuendo there. Let's see. Mark. Hey, Mark Whistler. Saw Mark in the private community. Good to see you, Mark. Hope you had a good time on Thursday night. It's a free-for-all, isn't it? Not the usual live stream, but greetings all. Raining in Indiana. Yeah, it's hard to believe it, but you're still getting the remnants of this friggin' storm that we just went through. And all the way from Chile, ladies and gentlemen, we have Juan Manuel. Good to see you, Juan. Glad you're doing okay. Says, good afternoon, friends. And he says, hi, Mitch. Oaktown Girl is here. Hey, everybody. Can't chat right now, but I'm listening. And you all can see the chat moving, I think, over there. Right now, nobody's typing in it, but it should be moving along on the right of the screen. Let's see here. Who else we got? There it went. It's moving now. Who is this? Arbor Memorial. Wow. I'll look twice at that. Arbor Memorial. Good to see you, my friend. Hey, Mitch, 3 days away from a month on Carnivore. Thanks for your guides. You're very welcome, my friend. You're getting there. You're getting there. Hope you continue. Hope you continue. I'm sure you will. Sure you will. Juan and Tammy and Leanne T. Up way early this morning, 3 a.m. here in Malaysia. Holy cow, saw your stream first time here and decided to wave a hello. Good to see you. Good to see you. 3 a.m. You are exactly 12 hours different from us. Wow, we don't get too many people from Asia on this Saturday afternoon live stream. We do get more people from at 8 o'clock at night on the Tuesday night one. We get Europe on this one, which is good. And Sherry Morgan is here. Hi, you, Sherry. Good to see you. Love and light from California. And I seem to recognize all these names. Yo-Yo Sup. Hey, Mitch, love your meat. Everybody loves my meat. I don't know if these are trolls or bots or what. If it even resembles a compliment, I'll take it. I'll take it. And I think I'm getting down to... Where's Nick Sheeson is here. How you doing, Nick? Good to see you. And I think I've said hi to everybody, and I'm up to about 322, so I'm almost caught up on the chat here. Polish Mike, how you doing? Few hours of drive. Good for you. Good to see you. Grandma Prepper is here. Says good afternoon to everybody. Jerry Vodstush had that question. You hit the nail on the head with lifestyle versus diet. Friends, as long I intend to eat carnivore forever, forever. Yeah, I keep talking about that, and, you know, I never pre-plan those morning videos that I make. I don't pre-plan. I don't sit the night before and even give it a second thought. I don't agonize, oh, what am I going to talk about tomorrow? Sometimes I don't even know what I'm going to talk about when I say good morning, take my first sip of coffee. But I started thinking about it this morning, and there was a few things I just wanted to say. I wanted to talk about the meetup and the storm a little bit and stuff. And I said, well, maybe I'll just, as a theme today, talk about being on a diet and how that never works, and talk about lifestyle. And even though I've said it before, these things These things are not meant. These morning videos are not meant. They're like the morning news on TV. They're not meant to become legacy references on my channel that people 30 years from now, even if I'm gone, will still be referencing. If anybody references anything I did 30 years from now. These are just daily, kind of like chats. Say good morning, drink a little coffee. Talk to my friends. It's as much for me, maybe more so for me, to know that there's somebody out there and I'm not all alone on this planet, as it is for you guys. So sometimes if I wander on a particular morning, just put up with me puffing on a cigar, sipping coffee, and just going off in 10 different directions. And I can promise you one thing, it's not going to be very predictable. So hopefully it's interesting. And I try to be a little bit funny in there. Who else we got? Anybody? Linda Price is here. Hiya, Linda. Morning. All been sick this week. Sorry to hear that. Grateful. My only symptom is tiredness. Carnivore for the win. My family of carb consumers have been sick over a week and have hard coughing still. Oh, that's... Sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that. Send them my best wishes. Amboy Carnivore, making the lamb chops from Sam's Club. They are so cheap. Yeah, you know, I don't know why I never buy lamb, but I just don't. My mother used to make lamb chops. I used to love them. I have to try it one of these days. I got so many different things I eat already that it's almost too much. I'm like anti-variety for some strange reason. I like to keep it simple. I'd be perfectly happy. I mean, I could go for an entire month eating nothing more than bacon, eggs, and ground beef, period. And it wouldn't upset me in the slightest bit, in the least little bit. Today, I ate because this afternoon thing throws my eating schedule off, about noon or so, I just ate a huge meal. I ate bacon and eggs and a pound of ground beef, and I almost couldn't move after I put down all that food. But it's going to be an OMAD kind of day, and I thought I'd try that on a Saturday just because I don't want to eat at 5 or 6 o'clock. I don't ever eat that late. I'm usually done eating for the day by 4 o'clock at the latest. So it's digested now, but I ate more food at one sitting than I ate a day's worth of food at one sitting, which is why I don't do OMAD. I need a couple pounds of food a day, and I just don't like to generally eat it at one sitting. Jesse Farmer, how you doing? Good afternoon to you, sir. And Tina Pope is here from Arizona. Good to see you. Wow, we got a whole bunch of people I don't recognize. The antique action figure. You've been here before. Howdy, Mitch. And S. McCabe. Hi. Vernon Sharon says hi. Vernon Sharon says hi. We hope you're doing well. Yeah, met Vernon Sharon at, I think that's the Vernon Sharon you're talking about at the Meetup. Yeah, good to see you. Good to see you. I am doing well. Life is good. Life is good. I know I bitch and complain a lot, but trust me, life is pretty good. Leanne T says, I commented for the first time on your post yesterday. I'm the one who shared about how I love steaming my meats now for juicy eats and easier cleanup. I'm 6 months in. I remember reading that. Yes, I'm 6 months in on maintenance mode. I don't know what maintenance mode means, but I hope it means still eating meat and no plants. I think that maintenance mode is basically what a carnivore lifestyle should be, where you're not doing anything different than you normally do to maintain your health. So in that respect, I'm right there with you in maintenance mode. Never thought about it in those terms. Marcia S. Sterling, how you doing? Good to see you. My son, who is a cigar smoker, always comes in to watch you light your cigar. I'm happy to hear I'm entertaining somebody with my cigar. I went a little overboard with the cigar lighter this morning. Just thought I'd have a little fun trying to outsmart it, but it kept, every time I opened my mouth, it just started blasting music again. So it's fun. It's fun. Got to make these things some kind of fun. And who is this? J Hampo 108. Anything wrong with seasoning the meat with herbs? Well, it all depends on the person. See, a lot of people get carnivore a little wrong and go full-blown cult on it. Now, the basis of carnivore is no plants and no carbohydrates whatsoever. That's pure carnivore. And the purest carnivore is a lion diet. A lion diet where you mostly eat red meat from ruminant animals, salt, and water. It depends on the reasons that you're doing this. Not everybody needs to be full-blown carnivore. Very few people on this entire planet are full-blown carnivore. I'm not full-blown carnivore. I drink coffee. Now, doesn't sound like a big deal, but according to the purists, you're not a real carnivore, Mitch. You drink coffee. You know, according to those. No, I'm not. And I don't need to be. I have one problem, and that's carbohydrate addiction. If I avoid most plants, then I can take care of what smaller amount of plant toxins I get. We have the physiology to take care of that stuff, except when we overload our own systems with things like oxalates, anti-nutrients, lectins, fiber, and we pay the price. We get digestive issues and everything else. But small amounts of carbs, along with a 70% or more animal product diet, is the real scientific definition of a carnivorous animal. An animal that gets more than 70% of its food from animal food. Well, that leaves 30% for plants. And humans have been eating plants since the beginning of whatever. It's been our survival food. It's been the food we've been able to scrounge up when the real food wasn't there, when the hunt failed, when we couldn't kill a big animal. So we're equipped. We have the pathways to metabolize the carbohydrates. We have the pathways to try to rid our body of these toxins. We adapt to these toxins in plants and learn to deal with them over time. So if you're one of these people, J Hampa 108, if you're one of these people who is not so sick and has all kinds of autoimmune diseases and digestive and bowel problems like Crohn's and ulcerative colitis, if you're not one of those kind of people, then no, throwing a few spices and herbs on your food is going to be fine for you. And don't let anybody tell you that this is not a club. This is not something where you get a review every month and get thrown out if we find you've been eating a little spritz of parsley or thyme. It's not that way. That is unrealistic. And we're each a little different. And we each react differently to these different things. For me, it's a matter of, will it trigger a craving for carbohydrates or not? That's my big thing. And I work real hard to make sure that nothing I eat makes me even think about putting a blueberry in my mouth, because I know that that's a slippery slope and that I'll be out of control like I have all my life before I started this. Now, what happened when I first started doing carnivore, I said, well, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be very strict about it. I'm going to follow my own rules about stuffing my face whenever I felt hungry to make sure I don't get these cravings. And within a month, everything started to take care of itself, and I started following my body's own cues. And I found that if I just did that, I had no trouble because I didn't really want any of that other stuff. So when you add something, carnivore by itself, without all the plants and without all the sugars and the grains and all that stuff, is going to keep you on the straight and narrow. But when you start to think for whatever reason that you can't eat your steak without garlic and rosemary and all that stuff on it, and you start adding it, if you start adding more and more and more of it, then I'd be careful. But if you can put a little of that on your steak, more power to you. Give it a try. But I'd make sure that you got fully into carnivore first, okay? That you got fully fat adapted, that you stuck in there for a couple of months with just the animal products and salt and water and some electrolytes, stuff like that. And then you might want to try adding that back in. Like I say, I'm not your coach. I don't know what you eat or how much of it you want to use. But I hope that answered your question. As usual, I always have a long answer for a short question. Papa Carnivore's here. Hey, Peter, how you doing? I'm glad you're here, Peter. Peter sent me some photographs. And I don't know if he wants me to share them with you all, but I almost have to assume that that he does because he sent them to me. So let me see if I can find those photographs here. There we go. Peter has just informed me that here's a picture. Hold on a second. Let me open this picture up here and show it to you. There's a picture of Peter as he is today. And look at Peter. I think he said he weighs around 200 pounds now. And that's Peter. That's Peter today. Now, let me go back and get the next picture. Of Peter. And, drum roll please, that's Peter over 100 pounds before. And let me get this out of the way so you can see it. And that's Peter. And there's another picture in here too. There's another picture of Peter. Look at that. Holy cow. Peter! I got to tell you, man. I got to tell you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Incredible. 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 Congratulations, my friend. And that's absolutely amazing. And I hope I didn't embarrass you too much, but you should be proud as hell. And I'm looking forward to meeting Peter at our meetup in about 4 weeks. So that'd be great. Can't wait. Anyway, what a great job. And I see everybody's giving you congratulations there on the chat. So you should be proud of yourself. You're doing great. And Peter's a very active member of not just our community, but so many others too. And is really into this, got the spirit of it, and getting results that people just don't get. People just don't get. Limiting what they eat. Eating Weight Watchers desserts and killing themselves at the gym just doesn't work out. So good to see you here today, Peter. And everybody's saying hi to you. Doing great. Flu is gone, Peter says. Good deal. Glad to hear that. And Ellen is here. Hey, Ellen. Hi, Leanne T. I also saw your comment. I seen, yep, you're talking about cooking and everything else. Guys really chatted up. And if you guys got any questions for me, put them in the chat and I'll see if I can't find them. And you can go on the treasure hunt with me. Now, do you like this screen layout with the chat up on the side better, or do you like this screen layout of just my pretty face on there? Let me know in the chat which you like better, this or this. Or maybe you like this better without me completely. Just Spanky. Anyway, let me know. The glorious part of this whole thing for me is I was able to add 2 more buttons. I have 2 new buttons, folks. I have 2 new buttons on this little thing that I'm pushing right here. I have these 2 right up at the top, these 2 new buttons. This button right here gives me this screen, and this button next to it gives me the pre-show or the rear view with the chat, and I still have the rear view without the chat. So, you know me. You give me more gadgets, more buttons, I'm happy. Doesn't take much. Not anymore, anyway. Doesn't take much to please me. Scooby says, just my pretty face. Only your pretty face, Ellen. We see that chat on YouTube. Don't need it on your screen. Just my pretty face. So far, they're winning. Stephen Albach says, I like the chat on the side. Just my face. So far, the just my face. No chat. You guys are winning. Sold. Okay. That's what feedback is for. May put it up there when I'm answering the questions so you can see me searching for the questions. But other than that, I will just put this up. I also have nothing but my face for those of you that simply can't get enough of me. And that's this. No disturbing background, no nothing. Just me. I don't know. I like to at least have a set behind me. So we will go back to the set. Face. And Ellen says, Papa Carnivore, you have mentioned losing weight, but the photo really speaks a million words. Yes, it does. Sherry Morgan says hi to Papa Carnivore. And we're down here at the bottom of the chat. Look at all the chat that's going by. Holy mackerel. Valerie Thompson, you got that right. She says, Scooby, looks like the pretty face wins. Yeah. This is, my friends, this is going to be as pretty. This is as pretty as it's ever going to get. Let me finish this coffee, this iced coffee I now have here. Wow. Okay, Jerry Vajtus, we like seeing the gorilla too. You like Spanky? Long story behind Spanky. Spanky. That was my drone buddy. Tried to come up with a kind of a mascot, and we were on our and this may be a little risque for some of you, but knowing you like I do, I don't think so. But on one of my live streams, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, when this was a drone channel, I found this monkey, and it's actually a video clip, and it's in a loop of about 1.5 minutes. and it has a green screen behind it, so it's just wherever you put it, it's just going to sit there, and the thing doesn't do much but move around. And I can make them as big as I want or put them anywhere I want, and I had a ball. So I came up one night and I said, "Oh, what are we going to name this monkey? We need to name this monkey." And drone guys being what they are, one of them blasted out, "Name him Spank the Monkey." Spank the Monkey. I said, what a great name. What a great name. And for those people that think that's a little risque or not appropriate, we'll call him Spanky. And that's how Spanky got his name. So he was my buddy. And believe it or not, back when I first started doing these live streams, I wasn't nearly as smooth and polished and sophisticated as I am today. It was a little rough. I wasn't as comfortable. See, for me, when I do these things now, I just imagine I'm sitting in my living room with a bunch of friends sitting around, and we're just talking. There's nothing to be nervous about at all. I don't care if there was 10,000 people watching. I would still feel the same way. Not likely that I'll ever have that, but I imagine I'd probably feel the same way. And Spanky kind of added a little comfort for me that I wasn't just like alone and the spotlight wasn't always on me. So when I first started doing the carnivore stuff in my first and second live stream, I brought the monkey in a little bit. I thought everybody get a kick. Well, I got comments from some of these a-holes. Get rid of that monkey. That's not appropriate. That monkey is stupid. Blah, blah, blah. And I went, geez, what the hell's wrong with these people? Are they unhappy that they're on a diet? That's miserable. How can you not love that monkey? And I stopped using it, and I never brought him back. So I need to bring him in for a cameo appearance now and then. All right, Spank, go to sleep. There you go. I mean, everybody should have a pet like that. Doesn't eat, doesn't crap, goes away when you want him to, is always there. Doesn't make a mess, doesn't chew on the furniture, nothing. Great pet. And yeah, we have Golf Addict. His name is Spanky, so I don't know if maybe whoever gave him that nickname also had a mind that went off in that direction. Mitch, can you make Spanky do tricks? No, I can't. I can't make him do tricks. It is a video loop. What I can do is I can actually put him in front of me like this. I can make him smaller. Whoops, that's me. I don't want to make me smaller. I want to make Spanky smaller. I can move him around. Wow. There it is. I have to find the edge of the frame to make them smaller. Let's see, where's the other edge of the frame here? Here it is. Let's see if I can do this. Yeah, there we go. I can make them smaller. I can make them small and set them down on my shoulder like that. But that's about all the tricks I can make them do. I'll tell you what I did one day, just as a gag. And sometimes I think my gags don't go over real big. Like that gag I did about the study that shows that pigs are going to be falling out of the sky. Nobody cared about that. They landed that rover on Mars. Talk about getting off topic here. They landed that rover on Mars. And it's still on my channel. And if you want to find it, go into YouTube, type Old Guy Carnivore, and then type Life on Mars. Type Life on. Let me see if I can find it with that, because I thought it was just really funny, and nobody cared. And I'm saying to myself, what the hell? Is something wrong with my sense of humor? Let me see if I can search this out. So give me a second. Search. Old Guy Carnivore. Life on Mars. It's not showing up. Do I have to type my old channel name in there? I'll have to find that. I know I still have the video somewhere. I'll find it. I'll find the video and I'll queue it up for Tuesday night's live stream. If I forget, just remind me. And I had the video of the rover panning slowly across the barren Mars surface, if you can picture that, with some hills in the background, all rocky and orange in color, or Mars. And I took the monkey and I set the monkey out there, sitting on a rock. And as the thing panned by, and you looked out in the distance, there was the monkey sitting there looking around. And I titled the video, finally, Proof of Life on Mars. And I had some really eerie science fiction music playing in the background. And I thought it was a riot. I was rolling on the floor. Nobody actually wanted to watch it, I don't think, which broke my heart, but I thought it was a kind of a funny gag. I'll see if I can find it for you. If any of you are interested, I'll show it to you on my live stream Tuesday night. Remind me, if you want to see it and you're here Tuesday night, say, show us the monkey on Mars, and I'll see if I can't queue up that little video for you. I know it's out there. I know it's way back, but years ago, at least 3 years ago, maybe more. But I'll find it. I'd love that one, Mitch, says Lori Weitzel. That's great, thank you. Anybody got a question? Let's do this. Let's go back to the screen with the chat so you can see what I'm doing. You'll see me scrolling frantically through this thing trying to find these questions, and I'm going to hit my search Q, and what you notice is right here, see the orange? That's what it shows me. It does a search, just like you can search any document with the F3 key, and it'll take you to the first occurrence of it and stop it. So no chat, please. It overlaps the chat I already have on my TV. Okay, all right. I got that. So I'm going to hit the F3 button again. And that seems to be the only QQQ that I can find. So nobody's putting questions in there. Every time I hit it, it goes back to that. Well, I get the day off, it looks like. Nope. All righty. Don't want to overlap your chat on TV. So we'll just kind of, I think I had one other. No, that was it. I had three. I had the meetup to announce. I wanted to show Peter's pictures of his progress and my disclaimer. And I think that's all I really wrote down as far as anything I wanted to accomplish. So let's just, I'll just visit with you guys. Oh, Tom. Tom says, I see Mitch is playing with his monkey, LOL. See what happens? See what happens? So I'll not talk while I'm reading. Carolyn Partridge. Carolyn Partridge is here. Let's, hello, everyone from I don't know where that is. I don't know where that is. Yeah, and then, of course, Tom said, yes, I was playing with the monkey, as a matter of fact. And you guys are all talking to each other here. Oh, look at that. Ellen is talking, and Mary's talking. Peter's talking. Oh, here you go. Sherry chimed in with a question here and a super chat. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you for explaining how shorts are like binge eating. Many people who give up on Carnivore only watch short form and don't understand patience. Yeah, the backstory to that, everybody, is that Sherry sent me an email the other day because she has a YouTube channel. She's a YouTube star, too. You should look her up. And YouTube Shorts came on the scene a year or two ago to compete with the likes of TikTok. You can do a 30-second to a minute and make it a short, and they're all in the portrait, the vertical format. And therefore people primarily that have no attention span whatsoever, no ability to ponder, analyze, actually think about what they just heard, how it fits with things they believe, analyze what it might mean for them. It's just about gathering more words and stuffing them into your brain. And before your brain gets a chance to not only do these words come at you in spoken form, but they blast them in text, big text, boom, 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 in front of you in different colors and highlights, and things fly in and zoom out. And I personally can't imagine somebody paying to go to college to stand and get that kind of a bombardment from a college professor in front of a lecture hall. Thank you for the super chat, Sherry. I'm going to take that off the screen because it's covering up, well, me. And I want to continue talking about that subject of these shorts. You get a shorts feed, and it's just one after another. And this is what the younger people today are getting used to. And to me, it's like plugging yourself into the matrix. It's like plugging yourself into directly into a feed of data that never stops. We're, as humans, we're not meant to digest information like that. And I likened it in an answer I gave Sherry to binge eating and cramming food in your face and never stopping and just jamming. You never leave yourself time to process what you've eaten and digest it. You never get a chance to ponder, to hear something and stop and say, wow, that makes that, I've never thought of it that way before. Does that fit in with what I know so far? If not, does it maybe push me towards maybe changing my mind? Does it make more sense than what I thought previously or not? And you have to have time to compare these things, to make any kind of a decision whether it's valid information or not. And you can't do that when 2 seconds after you've heard it, you're already on to the next thing. And people today are getting shorter and shorter attention spans, less and less patience. They scroll and scroll and scroll because they just can't get enough of this information. But none of this information is sinking in. So at the end of the day, after intercepting all of this crap, they're still empty. None of it stuck. They don't remember what they saw. And they use every psychological trick that they learned on trying to extract information from prisoners of war in these videos. The visual with the audio and the sound effects and the motion and things to attract your attention, but you don't learn anything. And I never liked them. I can't watch them. They make me crazy. And any YouTubers in our space, serious YouTubers, the minute they start putting up flashing words all over the screen, I hide their channel. I don't ever want to see that again. I just don't like it. It's uncomfortable for me to see it. It's like an epileptic watching a flashing light, and I'm not an epileptic. I just don't want to be bombarded by things. I want to relax. I want my information to come at me in a meaningful, normal pace that we humans are designed and have been receiving our information since the beginning of time. The stuff that comes at me hot and heavy and fast and loud and urgent, I reserve for my house being on fire or some other such emergency that requires immediate action, because that's what these things trigger in you. They trigger that fight or flight response. The noise, the visuals, they grab your attention and almost demand action right then. I don't like that, and I don't buy it. And I think that anybody in our space trying to talk about something as important as health and nutrition have to present information in a way that it might sink in. Now today, we do that with a disadvantage. There's a disadvantage because people don't have the patience to sit still for it anymore. I lose a lot of viewers. I get a lot of people unsubscribe because I'm not going to rush a message. I'm going to make a case. I'm like a lawyer in a courtroom. I want to make my case. I want to make it as clearly as I can and as understandable as I can. And sometimes maybe I overdo it. But why bother? Why bother? Anybody can make a lot of noise, flash up a lot of text, put eat meat up there, make it change 37 different colors in a half a second. We already know eat meat. There's so much more to it to be successful at it than that. So, and I found surprisingly that when I give in to the temptation to follow some of the advice which we get bombarded with from all of these channels that are for YouTube content creators, telling you all the secrets of the algorithm and how to get thousands of subscribers and how to go from 100 views a video to 12 million views and you know how to make fabulous, and they all have the same advice. It's all about the thumbnail, the title of the video, and the next thing on the list is grab their attention in the first 30 seconds. And they say, if you don't do that, you'll lose them. And I do lose them because I don't do that. I start out most of my videos relaxed. And you know, when you contrast me, and I do this on purpose, the average YouTube guy got his baseball cap on backwards. Hey, YouTube, sup? How you doing? Listen, it's so-and-so here. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and push that bell to be notified of all the videos that I release. That way you'll be supporting this. And by that time, I'm going, ah, shit, and I just go away. I don't want to listen to that. But if somebody comes on and just starts talking to me like a human being, like I try to do, hey, good morning, how are you? It's me, Mitch. Today I want to talk about this or that. That's how you start a conversation. It may take more than 30 seconds. And if I lose people in the first 30 seconds, so be it. Those people don't have the patience to do carnivore right, they're never going to succeed. I can't bother. Why bother with them? I guarantee you, if I was a college professor with a bunch of dumb, eager students in front of me, if I had one that sat there constantly in a hurry to get out of there, rustling his papers, always looking at the door and the clock, I'd throw his ass out. I'd tell him, come back when you can sit still and relax. So I'm a hard ass in that respect, and it costs me on YouTube, but I'd rather have it that way and be able to do it the way I do it and just try to explain and try to lead people through it with examples they can understand about things that are so important that nobody understands. I've asked a lot of people, why do I have these uncontrollable cravings? Why? Can you tell me why? Nobody's ever been able to do that. Why can't I control my cravings? There's got to be a reason. What's the reason? I figured that reason out. That's how come I got successful finally. But I don't hear it anywhere else. And explaining it to somebody sometimes can take a painfully long amount of time to make sure that they thoroughly understand it. Anyway, I still got 100 people, so I haven't bored the hell out of you with this yet, so I'll stop now. We got Stephen Studley has gifted 5 memberships. And where is it? Where is it here on the chat? Here it is. 5 memberships. Thank you. Let's see who the lucky winners were. I need to go into that point in the chat and find it. Here it is. And the winners, oh my God, look at this. Aunt B. Aunt B. We all know Aunt B. How you doing? Was gifted a membership by Steve Silly, John Flick, Bama J. There's another person that has been around since almost the beginning of my channel. Good to see you. You're now in the private community. Get in there. And Polish Mike, welcome, welcome. Peg, oh man, Polverari, another one. You can all thank Steve Studley. Steve, I thank you for that. And the community is growing. I think we're up to about 180 members now. It's fabulous. I never thought, I mean, that's not 6,000 members, but it's a lot of people. When I look at the list of names, and let me pull it up here on my website, on the homepage of my website. When I look at this list of names here, of all the channel members, that's a lot of people. And we have a ball. We have an absolute ball on Thursday night. So those of you who were gifted a membership, take advantage of the 30 days. And if you want to continue, you can join up. It's cheap. It's almost cheaper than a cup of coffee at Starbucks. That's for sure. And if not, no hard feelings. It's not for everybody. But we have become great friends. I keep talking about that. So thank you, Steve. Very, very kind of you. And I'm sure that all of those people who got the memberships today appreciate it too. And we also got I think that's Norwegian kroners. Asbjorn Knutson, how you doing? When will you sell the Carnivore gold Chinese watch for 100,000, Mitch? The Carnivore gold Chinese watch. I'm sorry, my friend. That one went right over my head. Carnivore gold Chinese watch. This is the watch that I have. I don't get it. Explain it to me, but thank you so much for the 50 kroners. Very nice of you, man. Asbjorn. He's been a member of the private community for a while. Good to see you. Thanks again. Thanks again. Rosie is here. Hey, Rosie. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Good to see you. And everybody really, really has become great friends in here. Sherry Morgan is excited for Aunt B. B-Mat's here. How you doing? Says hi. Steve Studley, Sherry Morgan. I think I got down to the bottom of the chat over here. Here's a question. Cheryl, comment, hi Mitch, how do I search for your videos if I'm looking for a particular one? Well, there's a number of different ways that you can do it. You can, let me, hang on one second. Let me set something up here real quick. And let me go over here to my web browser, and let's go into YouTube. Let me get rid of this question and get it out of the way. And this is my home page. You can find my YouTube homepage just by typing youtube.com/@ not asterisk, but ampersand. No, not ampersand, an @ sign. Shift 2. You know what I'm talking about. Old Guy Carnivore. And you'll get to this page. And on this page, you can scroll down, and there's a For You section, which YouTube actually recommends some of my videos. Then there's my uploads. And you can scroll in these. And these are from the newest on back. And you get a few of them there. Or you can just click on uploads and you'll get the entire list of all my videos. And you can just scroll down them and it'll just keep reloading and you'll go all the way back to the beginning. And you can go up on any YouTube window up here to the search bar. You see where I am up here? And just type Old Guy Carnivore. And let's suppose there it comes up with all these different suggestions. Electrolytes, air fryer, chuck roast, sous vide, meatloaf, ribs, chicken wings, diet, Ansel keys, salmon, steak, frittata, coffee, live. And if you don't see what you're looking for there, let's suppose you want to know how to start carnivore or the first 30 days, type 30 days and hit enter. And it will, here you go. How to make the first 30 days of the carnivore diet easier. You survive the first 30 days. What's next? Now it's going to may bring other people's 30 days. What to do for the first 30 days of the carnivore diet. Starting carnivore for the first, second, third time. Here's the secret that you have missed. And here it'll also take you right to my channel again, which is where you started. But you can do that with any YouTuber if you just type the channel name, Old Guy Carnivore, with or without the spaces. And then you get a big drop-down list of what the most popular searches have been. That shows you what other people have searched for. And if you don't see it there, just type it in after the name. If you want to know, for example, Old Guy Carnivore sous vide. Here's some videos that I made about sous vide. See? Other people's too, but there's 5 videos. Mine showed up right on top. And I hope that answers your question. But that's how you can do that. It's amazing what you can find. And even in Google, if you type it the same thing, Old Guy Carnivore sous vide into Google, it's going to show you all the videos that I have. That's one thing you got to hand it to the people who index this stuff, is that it's pretty much all there. Even the propaganda. Propaganda's there too, unfortunately. So I hope that answered that for you. And we also have Ashjorn's back, 100 gross. Thank you, man. Sorry, old guy Carnivore had a joke on your expense, my bad taste. Trump just started to sell watches for 100,000. No kidding. No kidding. I didn't see that. Of course, I don't watch politics either side. I picked my side a long time ago and I stick to it, but I try to stay out of that stuff. You've got too much integrity to do the same. Hey, it very well may be that watch he's selling for 100 grand might be worth 500 grand. You never know. You never know. I'm surprised to hear that. I know they sell hats and T-shirts and all that, but I mean, you're either going to be a businessman and a capitalist or not. At least Trump hasn't been supported by the taxpayers his entire life working for government. He made his own bones and made his money and provided jobs and actually produced something. But that's getting political, and I don't want to do that. But thank you so much, man. Thank you for the kroners, and always appreciate it. Always appreciate it, my friend. Did I miss any? No, I didn't miss any super chats or anything. I want to make sure I don't miss those. Always appreciate those. Like to acknowledge the generosity. But now you got me curious. I'm going to have to go and see what he's selling for 100 grand. I've seen watches sell for more than 100 grand. Back in my knife collecting days, they used to have these watch shows with some of these fabulous handmade pieces. Some of them were millions of dollars. It's crazy. And there are people with just that much money that they can't figure out what to do with it other than buying multi-million-dollar watches to put in a vault in their house along with their 100 other multi-million-dollar watches that they never wear because they're worth too much money to wear. Rosie is chatting with everybody. Papa Carnivore's chatting and Carolyn's chatting. And Rosie Red says, I agree, Ellen, bald men have no big ego. They're the best guys. I have to agree with you. I mean, there's no bias on my part, but I have to agree with you. You know, that might be the basis for a good observation that I've never even thought of, and it would be, do you know how to tell which bald men have big egos? And the answer would be those that are wearing a toupee, because that would be true. I think that when a bald guy wears a toupee, he's either got one flaming inferiority complex or a big ego. Spring bulb. Interesting. I imagine that's a flower reference. Bitch, I seem to crave extra thick double cream. I'd never eat this pre-carnivore, but that seems to be the only thing that satisfies more than just butter. I get a craving. How bad is that? You know, it's not bad. It's not bad, and I don't know if you could even characterize that as a craving. I guess it could be. I've never heard of too many people craving fat, but a lot of people do get a craving or get an addiction to some dairy products, either because of the sugar, of the lactose that might be in it, or the casomorphines that are in cheese, which have a drug-like effect, a dopamine and serotonin releasing type effect. I don't know, is it whipping cream? Is it, when you say thick double cream, is it no milk, just the pretty much milk fat, just the fat part of it? A lot of people like that stuff. The fat is satisfying, and as long as it's got no carbs in it, I don't think it could hurt you at all as long as you're not drinking it out of a quart bottle, glugging it down all day long, because you'd be getting an enormous amount of fat that way, and that would absolutely show up in your bathroom experiences. Remember, you've got a built-in gauge to tell you whether you're getting too much fat or not enough. And that is, if you're getting too much fat, you'll have diarrhea or loose stools. And if you're not getting nearly enough fat, you will be constipated. And that, I would say, is once things settle down for you. I mean, I wouldn't, the first month on Carnivore, anything's likely to happen. Don't try to switch up your fat intake every day, high to low to high to low, trying to chase that bowel consistency. Like I said, the first couple of weeks, 3 weeks, you are basically going to live through screaming protest marches from your gut microbiomes, different strains that used to have it made, and now all of a sudden you're starving them to death, especially those gut bacteria that needed fiber and sugar to live. Those guys don't go down without a fight. So trust me, it can be a ride. Now, not everybody experiences it. It depends on what you're coming from. If you're a vegan and you immediately go carnivore cold turkey, yes, I can almost guarantee that you're going to have some bathroom adventures. So wait till you've been carnivore and pretty faithful to carnivore for at least a month before you start trying to evaluate and use any of these things as a gauge as to whether you're eating adequate fat or not. But no, if all the things that you can crave, I think that craving almost pure fat in the form of heavy cream has to be probably what I would think. And again, it's just my opinion, but based on what I've seen, would probably be the least harmful thing for you. But I was wrong once before, but I doubt it. Here's a guy that wears a disclaimer on his shirt. Hope that answered your question. Leanne T says, cheese is a bit like sugar for me. As one of the docs mentioned, it can get addictive and make you want to keep eating more than necessary. So true. Yeah, so does that. Well, hard cheese is nowhere near the fat content, I don't think, of double heavy cream. But the cheese does have some addictive substances in it, and it's easy. I've heard a lot of people, including me, have gotten what we call cheese creep. Because I like Swiss cheese, and I used to like to take Swiss cheese and put a little square of it on top of a pork rind. It made kind of an hors d'oeuvre. And this was back in the days when I was still snacking. And don't get me started on snacking, but I haven't been snacking for a year and a half now. I eat only meals, period. Never put food in my mouth if it isn't part of a meal. But I may have an appetizer, which is part of a meal. It's continuous eating. And I would eat little chunks of Swiss cheese on top of a pork rind. And I might make that an appetizer and then go right into the steak or whatever else came. And I found that I was suffering from cheese creep. I might have done it once a week, and then I started doing it twice a week, and then I was doing it every day, and then I was doing it before every meal, and I said, no, I got to stop this. This can't be good. And I was eating more and more and more cheese. There's something about it that was addictive. So you got to be careful with that. But if you're going to eat cheese, just eat high-fat, hard cheese, not mozzarella, not provolone or Parmesan or any of those things. Eat cheddar, a good, no milk, high-fat, hard cheese. I found that just stopping all dairy completely helped me. But a lot of people include dairy. It's still animal products and do fine unless they're drinking a lot of milk and getting a lot of the milk sugar and the lactose from it. Oh, that was a good comment. It didn't come in the form of a question. I see we got Mark Davis chimed in. Hey, Mark, how you doing? I just put sockeye salmon fried in butter down in my belly. I did good, huh, Mitch? Yeah. That stuff is good. I try to eat fish once a week. Once a week. I don't micromanage anything. I just enjoy it as a little change. Get a little extra omega-3. I think get as close as you can, but don't sweat everything. I just can't micromanage this. If you like it fried in butter, yeah. I love any kind of fish fried in bacon grease with the pork rind crumbs on it. I do cod like that, fried shrimp like that, make chicken wings like that. I might make some. I just took some chicken thighs out of my freezer, and I may actually do up some chicken thighs tomorrow with the bacon grease pork rind crumb thing. That I think would be delicious because they're really good fatty pieces of chicken. I think the thigh I think is the best piece of the chicken and one of the cheapest. And I did that video a few weeks ago about how to eat for $2 a meal, and I had it the other night. I made them in the air fryer. 3 big chicken thighs. I mean, it was enough to fill me up, completely satisfy my appetite. It was $2 worth of chicken thighs. It's crazy. It's crazy. Thank you, Mark. Always appreciate it. Thank you very much. And I see Sherry. Thank you, Sherry. Do you think it's possible that is the act of binging craving more than a fat craving at the beginning, especially bored of a specific time, especially if bored? You think the craving the cream, is that, I guess that's what you're talking about. Do you think it's possible that it's the act of binging craving more than a fat craving at the beginning, especially if bored or a specific time? That question's open to a lot of interpretation, Sherry, but I myself know what cravings are as they relate to carbohydrates. I have never had that kind of craving or the kind of binging on carbohydrates that I would have with a high-fat food like cheese. The reason is chemistry. The reason is physiology and the programming of how our bodies react, how our satiety hormones react to what the food is that we're eating. If we're eating a high-fat food, our satiety hormones do their job and stop us because that's the real food. We're not supposed to overeat the real food. There's no need to. We've got fat stored on our body. And even if you look thin, you still have months worth of fat stored on your body. Nobody runs around with a total body fat percentage of 0. 10 or 15%. 15% is about average for a man. I think 20 to 25% is average for a woman. That's a lot of pounds of fat, even if you don't look fat. You've got hundreds of thousands of calories of energy stored away in your fat cells, even if you look thin. Your body is not worried about starving to death tomorrow because you are carrying that fat. Unfortunately, if your metabolic health is so screwed up that your insulin, your chronic insulin levels are usually very high, your fat cells can't release that energy. Your body is then forced to do what it would do if you were starving to death and had no fat left, and that is to compel you to eat carbohydrates, the survival food. And that same programming that would bring your eating to a screeching halt when you ate enough fat and protein, that same chemistry works differently when you're eating carbohydrates, because it knows it's eating survival food, and if it thinks you're eating survival food, you must be in trouble. I mean, why in the world would you resort to survival methods if everything was rosy? So either you don't have fat on your body because you've screwed up your chemistry so much, you can't get to that fat. Your brain now is in the mode that it believes that if you don't get sugar within 24 hours, you're dead. And that's why it compels all these cravings. And I can't imagine it compel those kind of cravings when you're just eating a lot of fat. If anything, eventually, or much sooner than eating carbs, it would stop you binging. And I don't think you'd sit there all night eating one pint of ice cream after another until you couldn't move. I don't believe you do that with the cheese. I don't know if that answers your question. I hope maybe it does. But I've never found myself binging on anything except sugar and carbs. When I say sugar, to me, I'm talking about bagels. Nobody that I ever met would eat as many bagels in one sitting. I'm talking about New York water bagels. I'm talking about the real deal. I'm talking about those fresh baked everything bagels, rye bagels, salt bagels, poppy seed bagels, garlic bagels. I could eat half or 3/4 a dozen of those big heavy puppies until I couldn't move, and my appetite never got satisfied. I just couldn't put another bite in. There was no room for it. That's the kind of eating I'm talking about that carbs make me do. That eating protein and fat, I can't even get close. It was all I could do to eat the last bite of that hamburger that I was eating today, eating my one meal of the day and eating just a lot of food. It's interesting. It makes an interesting discussion, Sherry. I think it's something that we really need to understand more clearly, the why and what it is that triggers these cravings. Nothing happens for no reason. It is a screaming cry from our subconscious that's thinking that if we don't get that sugar into our body, we are going to die. That's our subconscious mind. We're thinking in our conscious mind, trying to make sense of it, but our subconscious mind is basically an automated control mechanism working on programming that has evolved over hundreds of millions of years. It doesn't know what we're thinking consciously. It knows it's regulating chemistry for us. It's regulating our heartbeat, our breathing. It's monitoring everything. It's not really thinking. It's doing what it's programmed to do, and it's programmed to know that when a certain combination of things happen, you can't get at the fat in your fat cells. You can store one day's worth of sugar. You're running low. If you don't get sugar, you're dead. And the response to eating survival foods is to not satisfy your appetite, so you'll put away as much of that stuff. If anything, the more you eat, the hungrier you get. And you'll eat until you can't move or the food's all gone. And that ensures your survival. And our ancestors that had that programming are the ones that survived. And that's why we're here today, because that programming worked in those of our ancestors. Those people that lived at the same time as our ancestors that had this programming, that didn't have it, they don't have any living relatives today. They didn't make it. They didn't make it. And that's how evolution works. It's elegant, very elegant. Let's see what else I got here. Ellen, Sherry, I'm still obsessed with my sardines and bone marrow. As well you should be, Sherry. Sherry, that's good stuff. Healthy stuff. I mean, doesn't get much healthier than that. The sardines, tremendous omega-3, bone marrow, the best fats, cholesterol. Stuff's great for you. Asborn, some more kroners. Thank you, man. He says, lost 45 pounds since January doing the carnivore diet, drinking like a sponge, sadly low-carb wine and beer, but it shows that it works regardless. Take my son, you're in the same exact same predicament that my son is in. He knows what to do. He's a big guy. He's lost weight on a meat-heavy diet. But he and his wife, have been wine connoisseurs most of their marriage. And they, my son is going to be 54 years old here in a couple of months in November. And they've been at it a long time. And they're members of these different winery things. They get wine shipped by the case. It's such a part of their lifestyle, their social life, and everything else, that to give up the carbs and even the plant food, that's easier than giving up the alcohol. And they try to cut back. Problem is, it's an addictive substance. Unfortunately, the wines have sugar. And the smart money, you know who they are. I've been trying to figure out who they are, because they know everything. Because they say this. Well, they say. That goes right up there with, well, everyone knows. It's amazing what language we come up with to give ourselves excuses to believe what we want to believe. But they say that if you're going to drink distilled spirits, whiskey, bourbon, scotch, things like that. Contains the least amount of carbs and sugar. But wine is sugar and alcohol. Neither of those things are good for you, but they're both addictive, both the sugar and the alcohol, which I think makes wine even more addictive than distilled spirits. I'm not an expert on alcohol. I've drank a little, but I never enjoyed it. I wouldn't go out of my way for a drink. When I did drink, it was always in a social setting where it was just the thing to do. I never spent much money buying liquor or drinks, except back when I was out on a date and you had to. I think I have half a bottle of Crown Royal in my house that I bought on a cruise ship once, just in case somebody comes over and decides they want to drink. I've got it, but I've had the same half bottle sitting there maybe 10 years now, and nobody's drank out of it. I have a half a bottle or 3/4 of a bottle of Galliano, which is a licorice-flavored liqueur. That's at least 50 years old, and was my mother's. My mother died in 1984. That was 40 years ago. And I have that bottle of Galliano on the mantle over my fireplace as a memory of my mother. I would never drink it. It's a decorative bottle. But that's the only liquor that I have, alcohol that I have in my house. I don't believe I've ever had a beer in this house or in my refrigerator. There was no need. So I'm the world's worst authority on alcohol, and probably very lucky that it was one addiction or something that I liked that I had to give up. I could care less about it, don't want it. And I make up for it by being such a flaming carb addict. But my son, unfortunately, has both of them. And the way people give up addictions usually is to substitute. Have you noticed that? Have you noticed that if you ever went to an AA meeting, everybody's sitting around smoking and drinking coffee. Yeah, they're kicking alcohol, but they're eating, especially when you give up smoking. Everybody, kind of knows that when you, or has observed that people who quit smoking cigarettes get fat. It's so easy to trade the sugar addiction for the nicotine. And when you go to these meetings, whether, Alcoholics Anonymous, what do they have for you there? They have sugar and coffee. They have donuts, pastries, snacks, goldfish, pretzels, something. And it's usually some other addictive substance. So here you are, you want to become a carnivore, and you're addicted to both alcohol and you're addicted to sugar. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. I think you have to attack one at a time. But drinking low-carb wine and beer might be the best thing, but it is working for you. So do it in stages. Try to taper off. Don't drink like a sponge anymore. Lighten it up a little bit. See if you can't do with 2/3 as much for a couple of weeks, and then half as much for a couple of weeks, and then 1/3 as much for a couple of weeks. And maybe 3-4 months down the road, you won't need this stuff anymore as long as you don't replace it with something else. Anyway, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. And congratulations on 45 pounds, which is not an insignificant amount of weight, by the way. 45 pounds is, and if you don't think that's not an insignificant amount of weight, take 3 bowling balls, 3 16-pound bowling balls, throw them in a suitcase, strap them to your back, and walk around like that for a couple of days. You tell me if 45 pounds isn't a significant amount of weight. Peter, can you imagine taking a 100-pound person, having him jump on your back, piggyback, and living with him there? Can you imagine you used to carry that kind of weight around with you? It's hard to believe. Hard to believe. Makes you respect the engineering of our knee and hip joints to be able to carry that kind of weight. Let me peruse the chat. Sherry says, I meant if someone thinks they are craving fat, it's actually a craving to binge or overeat. That's possible. But if you do binge or overeat fat, it shouldn't be long before those satiety hormones kick in, unless you're just so metabolically broken that those things have got to heal, and you've got to tough it up and have a little willpower in the meantime. Asjorn, I think I'm pronouncing that right, my friend. Your comment, Olga, is fantastic and so true. Well, thank you. I don't recommend, I'd much rather hear that, as Jordan, than have somebody say, I couldn't disagree with you more, you're an idiot, you know. I don't recommend anyone drinking alcohol of any kind. Do as Mitch said, drink coffee, tea, and smoke cigars. Listen, I'm not as pure as the driven snow, not in any way, shape, or form. And I never claimed to be. I do the best I can. I'm like, you know, is it the Marines? Which branch of the service has the slogan, be the best you can be? Listen, if you do that, you're doing fine. Be the best you can be. You can't always keep up with the Joneses. You just can't always be perfect. Pursuing perfection in anything will kill you. It cannot be achieved. Do the best you can. Learn as much as you can. Focus on the things that make the most difference. And then be happy with the results. If you can improve your health 90%, you're way ahead of the game. And if there's still 10% that maybe isn't the best it could be for you, how much better are you than the people next door to you? Everything's relative. I try to live that way and not be too judgmental, especially when somebody's trying. When somebody's trying. Encourage people that are trying, even if you disagree with some of the things they're doing. If they're doing anything that's going to make them better than they were yesterday, encourage them. That's the beauty about the community that we have. And I see it. And anybody that's new here and hasn't been here before, read what's going on in the chat. Read it. And you'll understand what I'm talking about. You're seeing people that not too long ago were perfect strangers that actually care more about each other than some families do care about the members of their own family. It's a heartwarming thing to see. And I got to tell you, it's a privilege, guys. And you all know who you are, most of you, if not all of you. It's a privilege to have gotten to know you. I keep saying that, but I wouldn't say it if I didn't mean it. Anyway, Astron, thank you so much, man. Thank you. Appreciate that. Aunt B is here, the newest member. Knutson, not no autocorrect. Take a break. Aunt B. Aunt B, I'll see you Thursday night, Aunt B. Aunt B says, Knutson, not no. Where was his answer? Here it is. Aunt B, love you. Thank you for being here. Oh, that's great. Tom chives, accept yourself. We are all divine beings. Perfect. Yeah, nobody's perfect. I have to disagree with you a little bit on that, Tom. That's funny. Pamela Suarez, your Crown Royal is very well aged. Yeah, that's the good news about whiskey is it doesn't turn to vinegar like wine does. When I was married to my last wife, sometime in the 1980s, we took a trip. We used to travel a lot together. We took a trip, went out to California, went out for a couple of weeks, flew into San Francisco, rented a car, and just went crazy. We went out to and stayed at Lake Tahoe for a little while. We went down to the Fisherman's Wharf at San Francisco. We went down to Carmel. We were joking about we're hunting for Clint Eastwood. He was the mayor back in those days. And we went to the Sonoma and the Napa Valley on two different little jaunts and spent a lot of time in the wine country and visited all of these wineries. My ex was a heavy wine drinker. She was an alcoholic, I mean, if you want to be honest about it, but she'd never admit it. But 1 or 2 bottles every day of wine. You'd never see her without a glass of wine in her hand. As many women and men are today. I mean, you knock on the front door, they're standing there with a glass of wine in it. It's the first thing they do when they get home from work, pour a glass of wine. And we see it depicted like that in every movie, every TV show, everywhere. First thing people do is grab the glass of wine. It's just what you do. Well, you're an alcoholic if you can't go 6 hours or even a day without having a glass of wine or a bottle of wine. Stuff is very addictive. It's addictive in two separate ways. It's addictive because of the alcohol, and it's addictive because it contains a lot of sugar. And we've made it very sophisticated. And we have our fanciest glassware. And it has become a real event, this consuming such addictive substances. And we went out to California, went through the wine country, and we stopped at all these different wines. Stopped at the Smothers Brothers Winery, all these little off. And we just bought wine, and we bought wine, and we bought wine. And I must have had 20, 30 bottles. We carried them home with us in the airplane. Put them in the overhead compartment of the airplane. Back in those days, airplanes weren't as tough as they are today. You could carry more on. You could check your bags. There was no extra charges. They served you food. They even had smoking sections in the back. I mean, it was a different world back then. And I just had all this wine, and I never wanted to drink it because it was special wine. And it all got, after 30 years, it just all turned to vinegar. The corks dried out. It was horrible. And I still had it up until about a year ago. For some strange reason, I was holding on to this stuff. I finally chucked it. It must have been $500, $1,000 worth of wine that I paid for there. Never drank it. It kept it old enough. But whiskey that won't happen to whiskey. Tammy Bitart says, I'd love to share before and after photos. Oh, that'd be great, Tammy. Anybody that wants, I'll feature them on my live streams. Wants to send me photos, attach them to a Gmail, Old Guy Carnivore at gmail.com. One word, Old Guy Carnivore at gmail.com. Hi. So saying you're aging like fine wine is not a compliment. It's not the compliment we think. Well, it could be a compliment to say I'm aging like a fine. I have a T-shirt that says I'm aging like a fine cigar. And then it says something about being leathery. But yeah, fine wines will age to a certain point if they're cared for. If the bottles are stored, corked down, and they're rotated, especially champagne, at a regular basis, not too often, but they're rotated to keep the corks wet. There are 100-plus-year-old bottles of wine that are worth a fortune. But the average person who's not storing their wine in a temperature-controlled cellar, who's got them in the kitchen cabinet sitting straight up, where it can be 80, 90 degrees sometimes, the temperature goes up and down, the humidity goes up and down, these corks expand and contract and expand and contract, they eventually dry out and air gets in and the bacteria have a heyday and your expensive wine turns to vinegar. So I suppose a fine wine that's cared for, yes, that would be a compliment. In my kitchen cabinet, no, wouldn't be a compliment. Holy cow, look at the time. It's almost 5 minutes to 5. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Ashjorn, thank you, man. Burning in both ends fast. Thank you, man. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Let me clean up the last of the chat here. I'm gonna do that little question search one more time and see what it shows up. Sherry had a question here. Says, when can we do another ladies' night on Thursday? I love my OG sisters. Well, we could do that, but last Thursday we had kind of like had half and half. So what you're saying basically is you want me to throw those guys out so you guys can take over. Sure. As long as I can stay. I can stay. You made a joke the other night about me and my harem. I mean, I certainly have no quarrels, Sherry. No. Nothing against that. We could do that. We could do that. When can we do another? And Cheryl Colvin says, is it different if I do it on my phone? I don't know what that meant. They were talking about something. Springbold Mitch, I seem to crave extra thick double cream. Got that one. Hey, Mitch, does your son and daughter-in-law like only sweet wine or dry wine? Dry wine has all the sugar fermented out. They don't like really sweet wine, but I don't think they really drink. They drink a lot of Shiraz, Merlot, Cab, some white wines. I would say that just about all the wine they're drinking is certainly going to have some sugar in it. Some of them are probably dry, but they've all got the alcohol in them. CB Carmack says, I make wine, but I haven't in a couple of years. And you probably shouldn't start now. I think I've found the questions. Mitch craved extra thick cream. Does your son and daughter like dry wine? We need more ladies' nights. How do I search your videos? Yep, I think I got them all. So guys, I've been live for 2 hours and 1 minute. Where does the time go? Where's the time go? I had a great time. Managed to keep it all, keep juggling it, keep it up, keep it going. Thanks for your help. Thanks for another excellent live stream, Jerry Vodstush says. Everyone enjoy the rest of your weekend. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And Aunt B had a question for me. Abscess in your tooth. The good news, B, no, everything's fine. I have some bone loss, no infection at all. No reason to remove this crown yet. And I'm hoping that because I'm carnivore, that I've arrested that bone loss. Not that it's going to grow any more bone, but if it stops the bone loss, I'll be okay. And I talked to my dentist about it, did the X-rays, everything. He recommended don't do anything now. The tooth the implant is in there, solid as a rock. I can chew anything on it, no problem. I am going to feel a little bit of, not pain, but I can feel things on the side I don't feel on the side, and that's because the gum, where there's no bone under it, you can feel it when you press on it. I thought that might be abscess or infection. It was for a little while. There was a minor little low-grade infection, but that has cleared up evidently, and it's not there anymore. So there's no need to worry about it. No need to worry about it. But thank you. I was deeply relieved not to have to go through that ordeal now. I might have to eventually at some time, but I'm bound to, may not be the prettiest teeth in the world, but at 77, they're still my teeth. And they're still healthy, and my gums are healthy, and they work great, and I can still eat. I can still eat. Ashjarn says, Aunt B, you're the best. Aunt B is pretty cool. Pretty cool. And thank you, B. You're glad for me. And everybody's chiming in. Sherry says, have a great weekend. You too. You too. Be safe, everybody. Tom, thanks for all you do. Mitch, Ellen says, good afternoon, Sherry, CB, Papa Carnivore, Mark C, Rosie, Red Mama Cracker, Lori Whitesell, and all my Thursday night pals. And Ellen, always great to see you. Always great to see you. We love you. Thanks for coming in. My next appearance will be on Tuesday evening at 8 o'clock, and I'm really looking forward to seeing all of you then. So, we all know what that means. Thanks so much, everybody. Thanks for coming. Thanks for spending the afternoon with me. Had a great time, as always. Thank you so much for all your questions and those super chats. Always appreciate that. And one last question. Spring Bulb, how's your daughter, Mitch? She's doing fine. They went to Disney, believe it or not. After all that storm, no problem, and they went to Disney this weekend. So they're out there at Disney having a carefree time, and she needs it because they've been through a lot of stress. Not just with the storm, but her business is very stressful too. But she's doing fine. Thanks for asking. And Satya says goodbye. Steven says later, everyone. Scooby-Doo says woohoo, dancing out the door. Tom says good night. Everybody's saying good night to each other. And Aunt B and everybody else. So with that, I will say bye all. And can't think of anything else. So I will tell you, even though it's 5 o'clock, there's still some day left that you can take off. So take the rest of the day off and eat meat.